Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are right now. Welcome to our series. Today we have the honor, the pleasure to welcome as a guest speaker today anyway, Dr. Benjamin Amakye Boateng. He'll be talking about the voice and diasporic memory, Agbe songs of the Tabom community in Ghana. This presentation explores how the voice functions as a medium of memory, identity, and cultural transmission among the Afro-Brazilian Tabom community of Accra, Ghana. Drawing on ethnographic fieldwork and musical analysis, it examines how Agbe songs performed during funerals and communal gatherings embody histories of return, belonging, and diasporic continuity. The top acts that vocal performance serves not merely as musical expression, but as a sonic archive through which collective memory and Afro-Atlantic identities are sustained across generations. By situating Tabom vocal practices within broader discussions of voice in the African diaspora, the presentation highlights the role of singing in negotiating heritage, community, and affect. A few words about Dr. Benjamin Amakye Boateng. He's a senior lecturer and head of the music department at the University of Ghana. He holds a PhD in ethnomusicology from the University of Ghana and has served as a visiting scholar at the University of New Hampshire, USA. His research focuses on African and Afro-diasporic musical traditions, with particular emphasis on the Tabom community of Ghana, musical identity, oral transmission, and role of music in memory and cultural continuity. He has presented his work at international conferences and has published widely on African music, performance, and heritage preservation. His current research explores the vocal dimensions of Agbe music and the ways in which sound and song mediate identity, belonging, and diasporic memory among the Afro-Brazilian Tabom community in Accra. Please let's welcome Professor Ben Amakye Boateng. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Gino. How many minutes do I have, please?
20 minutes. Yeah.
20 minutes, okay.
It can be longer.
All right, sure. All right, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It depends on where you are listening from or where you are joining us from. And thank you so much, Dr. Gino Sistine and the Polyvocal Research Laboratory for the invitation. It's a privilege to participate in this series and to join scholars and practitioners who are interested in the voice as a site of cognition, expression, and cultural transmission. Today, I would like to explore the ways in which voices carry histories. More specifically, I examine how the Agbe songs of the Tabom community in Ghana function as repositories of memory and identity within the broader context of the African diaspora. While much of the scholarship on the African diaspora has focused on migration and material heritage, my concern in this presentation is with sound, particularly the human voice, and the ways in which singing enables communities to remember, transmit, and sustain collective identities. Through the Tabom case, I hope to contribute to broader conversations on vocal heritage, musical transmission, and the enduring role of singing in shaping diasporic belonging. So I'll begin with a question. How do voices carry histories across generations and across oceans? How do voices carry histories across generations and across oceans. This question invites us to think about voice not simply as sound, but as an embodied medium through which memory, identity, and cultural knowledge are communicated and preserved. First, I approach voice as embodied sound. And then secondly, I'll suggest that singing functions as memory and identity. Communities remember not only through written records or archives, but through repeated acts of singing. Songs become repositories of collective experience and provide continuity between past and present. Through performance, memory is continually renewed rather than simply preserved. Thirdly, vocal traditions themselves constitute repositories of heritage. To explore these ideas, I will turn to the Tabom community of Accra, who are descendants of Afro-Brazilian returnees, whose musical traditions reveal the enduring connections between voice, memory, and diasporic identity. My central argument for this presentation is that Agbe songs function as vocal archives. Through singing, the Tabom community preserves and transmits diasporic identity, collective memory, and cultural knowledge. In other words, memory does not reside only in textbooks or objects. It also resides in voices. The songs that they sing are not simply performed. They are remembered, they are embodied, and they are transmitted through participation. Each performance becomes an act of remembrance and a reaffirmation of belonging. Thus, rather than treating voice as merely a vehicle for words, I propose that voice itself constitutes a living archive, a medium through which communities negotiate continuity across time and space. So we now talk about the Tabom community, who they are. The Tabom community consists of descendants of Afro-Brazilian returnees who arrived in Accra during the 19th century. Many had been enslaved Africans, or they were descendants of enslaved Africans living in Bahia, Brazil, who subsequently returned to West Africa. And I must say here that in West Africa, they lived in Togo, Benin, Nigeria, and Ghana. Each of these countries had a name that they used to call the Afro-Brazilian returnees. And for those who settled in Ghana, they were known as the Tabom. Those who settled in Togo were the Brazilians. And then those in Benin were the Agudes. And then in Nigeria, they were known as the Amaros or the Saros, but they all refer to Afro-Brazilians who returned to West Africa. So, but my focus is on those who lived in Ghana, known as the Tabom. Upon settling in the Otu-Bloun area of Accra, they established a distinct community while simultaneously interacting with Ghana society and other ethnic groups. Their history is therefore one of mobility, encounter, and cultural negotiation. One of the most enduring expressions of this heritage is the music, which is called Agbe, a communal musical tradition characterized by singing, drumming, and dancing. Agbe is not performed primarily for entertainment. Rather, it serves important social and commemorative functions and remains deeply embedded in the life of the community. Today, Agbe is especially associated with funerals and memorial occasions, where music becomes a means of expressing grief, affirming solidarity, and remembering the dead. During these performances, which are highly participatory, there is little distinction between performers and audience, and the voice becomes a shared social activity rather than an individual act. What is particularly significant is that singing allows memories and histories to be continually reenacted. Through repeated performance, the community renews its relationship with its ancestors and reaffirms its sense of belonging. Thus, Agbe should not simply be understood as a musical genre. It is a social practice through which voices sustain identity and preserve diasporic memory. I used a few theories to back up my thesis. The first is Adriana Cavallero's philosophy of voice, which reminds us that voice is an embodied expression of human uniqueness that comes into being in relation to others. Second, Jean Assmann's concept of cultural memory also provides a framework for understanding how societies remember. According to Assmann, communities sustain their past through repeated rituals and cultural practices rather than through written records alone. Then K. Kaufman-Shellime's work on musical communities also will shift our attention to music as a means of creating and sustaining social belonging. She argues that musical participation fosters communities that transcend geography and historical displacement. The fourth perspective comes from Thomas Torino's theory of participatory performance. Torino distinguishes participatory music from presentational performance by emphasizing that participation itself, not technical virtuosity, is the primary goal. Agbe exemplifies this model. Everyone is encouraged to sing. Everyone is encouraged to respond. Everyone is encouraged to dance and contribute, dissolving rigid distinctions between performers and audience. Through participation, memory becomes a collective rather than an individual experience. And finally, Stephen Feld's concept of acoustemology, or knowing through sound, broadens our understanding of listening itself. Feld proposes that sound is a way of experiencing and understanding the world. Taking together these perspectives demonstrates that Agbe songs should not be viewed merely as musical compositions. Instead, they exist at the intersection of voice studies, cultural memory, ethnomusicology, and participatory performances. This integrated framework supports my central argument that Agbe songs function as vocal heritage, living practices through which diasporic identity is continuously created, experienced, and transmitted across generations. Now, so what are the Agbe songs itself? And this is a typical structure of Agbe songs whenever it's being performed, especially during funerals. There is an introductory part which opens the whole ritual space, which involves the pouring of libation or prayers to the ancestors, calling them to come and be part of the performance that is happening. And in this particular section, there's a song sang, go say ye, ye, and then there's a response, ye, ye. He'll say ye, ye, ye. And then it is a clarion call for people who are in the audience or anybody who has gathered around to be ready for the action that was going on. That's about to happen. Now, after the Osei, there's another one which seeks permission to the powers that be. They believe that anytime they are performing, there are spirits around who we have to ask permission from before we continue with the performance. So they sing a song, Ago, Ago, Dabi, Dawale, Onile, Mokago, seeking, in Africa or in Ghana, before you enter into somebody's room, there is the Ago. You seek permission by saying Ago, and then the person responds. So they have put it in a song to seek permission from the powers that be before the performance. So this forms part of the introduction. So anytime they have a performance of Agbe, this introductory is there before they move on to the main section, which has the Agbe song cycle. Every song has got its purpose, why they are singing. And so songs that they sing, they express identity, it strengthens bonds and give voice to collective memory during that particular section. And so every song, as I said, is coded. And once they open their mouth to sing, whoever the song is referring, for instance, in the funeral, when they start singing a song like Omoni Suku, Omoni Yae, Omoni Yare, Omoni Suku, they're using the voice to tell about the somebody whose parent is dead. And so those who are around, whose parents are there, they come out to sing and to express themselves. And so it lends itself for expression during that particular time. And then after that, there is the coda section. So a typical performance is divided into three main sections: the introductory part, the main section, and then we have the coda. So the songs, the sounds of memory of vocal characteristics of Agbe. The first characteristics of the songs is call and response. This is perhaps the defining feature of Agbe singing. A song leader introduces a phrase, and then the chorus responds collectively. This musical dialogue encourages participation and reinforces social cohesion. It is through this repeated interaction that knowledge is shared and communal memory is sustained. In Agbe, everyone has a voice, and every response affirms belonging. Secondly, Agbe melodies are fluid and expressive. Rather than striving for technical perfection, singers prioritize communication and emotional expression. The melodic contour supports storytelling, remembrance, and collective feeling, allowing participants to engage with both the text and the social occasion. A third feature is the layered vocal texture. Multiple voices overlap, sometimes singing the same melody with slight individual variations. This creates a rich sonic fabric that symbolizes that the community itself, many distinct voices contributing to one collective sound. It's an excellent example of what Torino describes as participatory performance. Another striking feature is the expressive quality of the voice. The vocal timbre, the dynamics, and the intensity communicate emotion beyond the literal meaning of the lyrics. During funeral performances, voices convey grief, reverence, resilience, and hope. As Caballero suggests, the voice itself carries meaning because it is embodied and relational. Finally, the lyrics and the language preserve historical knowledge. Reference to ancestors, community values, migration, and everyday life connect present-day performers with earlier generations. In this way, the words and the voices together become repositories of cultural memory. So the key takeaway here is that the vocal features of Agbe songs are not merely musical techniques. They are vehicles of memory, embodied and cultural. They are vehicles of memory, embodiment, and then cultural knowledge. Through voice, the Tabom community remembers, they connect, and then they endure. Embodied memory and musical transmission. How are Agbe songs learned? How are they remembered, and how are they passed on? Having examined the vocal characteristics of Agbe, the next question is to ask this question. It is to ask that how are these songs learned? How have they been sustained over the years? And how are they also being passed on even without written notation? The answer lies in what I describe as embodied memory. Agbe is not learned from books or musical scores. It is learned through participation. Knowledge resides in people, their bodies, voices, and relationships, and is continually renewed through performance. The first aspect of this process is oral and experiential learning. Young members of the community begin by listening. They observe rehearsals, ceremonies, and funerals, gradually internalizing melodies, rhythms, and performance etiquettes. Learning occurs through immersion rather than formal instruction, with elders and experienced performers serving as living repositories of knowledge. The second element is repetition and practice. And then thirdly, learning is fundamentally embodied. Singing is inseparable from movement, clapping, drumming, gesture, and dance movement. The body remembers alongside the voice. Contemporary research in music cognition suggests that sensorimotor engagement strengthens musical memory because perception and movement are closely interconnected. In Agbe, participants literally learn through doing. Equally important is community participation. Agbe is a participatory tradition in which there is no rigid separation between performer and audience. Finally, Agbe depends on intergenerational transmission. Elders pass on not only songs, but also stories, values, historical narratives, and performance practices. Every generation receives this heritage, enriches it through lived experience, and then transmits it to the next. So when you look at the diagram on the right, it summarizes this cycle. Transmission begins with listening, followed by repetition, then participation and internalization. Once individuals have embodied the tradition, they become transmitters themselves, passing the music on to future generations rather than a linear process. Musical transmission is a continuous cycle of learning, remembering, and sharing. Even as one of the community members said that we do not read Agbe, but we live it, we sing it, we feel it, and we hand it over to the next generation. It isn't found in any books. We move on to the expressive dimension of voice beyond the words. One of the central arguments of this presentation is that the meaning of Agbe does not reside only in the lyrics. It also resides in the qualities of the voice itself, in how people sing rather than simply in what they sing. The first expressive dimension is timbre. Every voice has its own color and texture, and within Agbe, vocal timbre is valued for its authenticity rather than uniformity. The richness, roughness, or warmth of individual voices communicates emotional and social meaning. These distinctive vocal qualities contribute to the collective sound of the ensemble and reflect the lived experiences of the singers. The third element, or another element, is intonation. Singers often employ subtle variations in pitch that add expressiveness and flexibility to the performance. These vocal inflections are not simply ornamental. They convey emotion, reinforce textual meaning, and reflect the stylistic aesthetics of the tradition. Finally, there is also emotional intensity. Perhaps more than any other feature, the emotional quality of the voice transforms Agbe from music into lived experience. Voices communicate sincerity, vulnerability, resilience, and hope. Participants hear not only melodies, but also emotions embodied in sound. Collectively, these vocal qualities illustrate what I refer to as the voice as affect. The voice functions as an emotional medium through which communities experience and communicate feelings that often extend beyond verbal language. In Agbe, singing mediates grief, particularly during funerals where voices articulate collective mourning and honor the memory of the deceased. It also expresses joy, especially during communal celebrations that affirm life and continuity. So I've talked also about how it is transmitted across generations. So the first one was about how children or the young ones observe. Young members of the community begin by listening attentively and watching experienced singers during rehearsals, funerals, and community gatherings before they actively participate. So once you observe, then you participate, and then you are given the chance to take up like the master drum or even to lead the songs during performances. These are all done under the supervision of seasoned musicians in the community. So the message here is that Agbe survives because it lives within people rather than on paper. Its continuity depends on observation, participation, imitation, social interaction, and repeated performance. Together, these processes create a living network of voices through which musical knowledge is continually renewed. For the research laboratory, these cases illustrate how vocal transmission is simultaneously cognitive, embodied, and social. Learning occurs not only in the mind, but also through the body, relationships, and shared performances. Diasporic resonances, Agbe and the Black Atlantic. Now, I'd like to situate Agbe within a broader transatlantic context. While Agbe is rooted in the lived experiences of the Tabom community in Ghana, its significance extends beyond a single locality. It resonates with other vocal traditions that emerged across the African diaspora, demonstrating how music has enabled displaced communities to preserve memory, identity, and belonging. The concept of the Black Atlantic, introduced by Paul Gilroy, provides a useful framework here, rather than viewing Africa and its diaspora as isolated cultural spaces. Gilroy invites us to think of the Atlantic Ocean as a network of movement, exchange, and creativity. Agbe is one expression of that interconnected history. The first point of connection is with Bahian Afro-Brazilian traditions. This connection is especially significant because the Tabom themselves are descendants of Afro-Brazilian returnees. Many of the participatory aesthetics that characterize Agbe, collective singing, rhythmic dialogue, and communal performance, echo musical practices found in Afro-Brazilian religious and cultural traditions. While these traditions have developed independently over time, they continue to reflect shared African musical principles. Similarly, Afro-Cuban communal practices reveal comparable approaches to participatory music making, collective singing, call and response, rhythmic interaction, etc., etc. Although these traditions differ in language, history, and religious context, they share several important musical characteristics. The first is polyvocality. Second is participation. Third is repetition. And then finally, all of these traditions rely on embodied memory. Cultural knowledge is carried out only in texts or archives, but not only in text or archives, but also in the voices. So, as I conclude, I'd like to return to the central argument that has guided the discussion. We started with a simple question: how do voices carry history across generations and across oceans? Through the case of the Tabom community and their Agbe tradition, I've argued that the answer lies in understanding voice as sonic heritage, a living medium through which memory, identity, and cultural knowledge are continually created and transmitted. The first conclusion is that voice is embodied memory. Memory is not confined to documents, recordings, or monuments. It also resides in the human body. Secondly, singing creates belonging. Throughout this presentation, we have seen that Agbe is fundamentally participatory. Collective singing strengthens relationships, reinforces identity, and creates a powerful sense of community. Thirdly, oral transmission sustains cultural continuity. Unlike traditions that depend primarily on written notation, Agbe survives because it is continually enacted. Finally, this study has demonstrated that diasporic identities are held as much as they are remembered. For the Tabom community, identity is expressed not only through historical narratives or genealogies, but also through sound. Their voices preserve traces of migration, return, resilience, and belonging that connects to the wider Black Atlantic. Agbe reminds us that diaspora is not merely a historical condition, it is continually enacted through musical performances. Taken together, these four ideas suggest that voice is much more than an expressive instrument. It is a medium of cognition, emotion, social interaction, and cultural continuity. This understanding aligns closely with what the Polyvocal Research Laboratory seeks to explore. Finally, if there's one message I hope you take away from this presentation, it is that heritage is not only something we preserve in archives, it is something we sustain in voices. When communities continue to sing, they do more than reproduce music. They renew relationships, transmit knowledge, preserve memory, and imagine futures rooted in their past. The Tabon experience reminds us that voice is simultaneously archive, identity, pedagogy, and community. It is through the human voice that cultural memory remains dynamic rather than static, living rather than merely remembered. I'd like to conclude with a thought When voices rise together, heritage is not simply preserved, it is recreated. Every Agbe performance transforms memory into sound, identity into participation, and history into a living presence. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this work with the Polyvocal Research Laboratory, and I look forward to our discussions and your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ben. Thank you so much for this wonderful talk. And I think there are a bunch of questions. I'm probably going to, give you guys the floor instead of holding the mic. And I see Dr. Constance Mbasimanga. She's here. Hello, Dr. Kessler, bienvenue. Diana, if you have any question.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you chose the Tabom community in Ghana? Also, does Agbe have a meaning? Like the word Agbe, does it have a meaning, or it's just like a name they give to the songs?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, the reason I chose the Tabom community, there are several reasons. One of them is that I've been researching in this community for the past close to 20 years now. When I began to do a PhD, they were the people that I got in touch with, and I realized that they have a unique history which has not been heard. And so from my music background, I decided to look at their history through their music. There are lots of historical writings about them, but not much is said about their music or their cultural practices, which rather holds them together even as at now. When they came from Brazil to Ghana, they came with a lot of cultural baggage. They were speaking Portuguese. They dressed like the Portuguese and all. But over the years, they've lost all these identity by assimilating into the Ghana culture, the Ghanaian culture. So they no longer perform some of these cultural traits. But one thing that holds them together is the music. And then back to the question of why it's called Agbe, the people themselves have no idea why they call the song Agbe. But per my research, I realized that Agbe is one of the key instruments that is used in the performances. As Nketia says that musical groups are named after musical instruments. And in Nigeria, where this performance was brought from, they didn't bring it from slavery in Brazil, but they sojourned in Nigeria, and then after Nigeria, they came to Ghana with the music. The dominant instrument, which is the shakers, the maracas, is called Agbe in Yoruba language. Mm-hmm. And so I am positing that because there is a number of them in that particular musical performance, they named it Agbe, which means the rattles, which is a dominant instrument when they are performing these songs. Yeah, so just to answer you briefly, this is what I can say about them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had a question about how does the theme of voice in your talk account for gender? What roles have Tabom women played in passing down these Agbe songs, and how do the song texts themselves reflect or silence female agency in the diasporic narrative? I mean, like the role of the woman. I mean, is there any pass down the tradition?
Okay, so in the Agbe composition, there is the Agbeche. In Ghana, the Che is the father. So there is Agbeche, and then he is usually in charge of the drumming. And then there is also the Agbenye, which is the mother of the ensemble, who mostly is in charge of the dance and then the singing as well. So the women play important role in shaping this musical type in terms of performances, in terms of the dance, in terms of the singing. They lead the songs mostly. There are no specific songs except for one song that I heard them sing. Iyalode, Iyalode Kowanjo, Iyalode, Iyalode Kowanjo, Iyalode, Abe Iyalode. And this song is usually sung when among the audience they see a prominent woman coming to the gathering. So it's a song that is sung for queen mothers, for women with position in the society. And that is, I think, the only song which really exalts the woman in among the community. But it's a great question you are asking. I've been asking them this question, especially when they are doing some of their rituals. Women usually are the last to attend. It's the men who take the lead before, once they are done, especially when they are eating their ceremonial food, for instance. The men are always served first. Although it's the women who prepare the food, the men will be served. After they have had their fill, then the women will be giving their share. And so I always ask them why women are secondary in what they are doing. They tell me that is how their tradition is. So it's a great question you asked. But as I said, women contribute through the dancing, through the leading of the songs. But when it comes to the other side, they are treated, they are secondary to the men. The men take the lead before the women join in whatever they do.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think Dr. Constance Ndasimanga, she has a question. And you have.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much for that presentation. It's actually, I'm going to be a bit cheeky, and it's going to be 2 questions. So the first one is, I'm sorry because I arrived late, so I might have missed it. But are there specific themes that are sung in those songs? That's my first question. And the second one is, because Gino so cleverly asked about the role of women. In my experience, patriarchy in Africa mostly comes from colonization. So when these people come, these people, these holders of this heritage say it is their tradition, and I don't know if you know about this or if you're interested in it, but I am, how much of what was imposed by colonization has seeped into this tradition? So those are my 2 questions. Do you want me to repeat them? Is it okay?
Especially the second one. Repeat the second one.
The second one is, I've noticed that it's coloniality that brought patriarchy in Africa. Most traditional African societies, yes, men had a role, but women had secret societies. In my mother's region, they even they had a language that men didn't understand and stuff. And there were some areas where men could not even step in when women were there. The white man, for lack of a better term, arrives with their whips and stuff, and most of their leaders were men. Their women, if they came, they didn't say a word. So they're the ones who actually brought patriarchy in most African countries. I cannot generalize, but do you think there might be something of that when they tell you this is our tradition? How much of that is genuine, and how much of it can be the influence of colonization?
Interesting question. But let me answer with the themes, the question on the themes of the song. The themes cut across, but mostly philosophical. Some are proverbial, some are, for instance, during a funeral, they have songs that refers to the widow, songs about the widow, where they sing Oyawo Shambara Oko Roje Oko Gu Irere. So they expect that the widow comes to express himself or herself through this song. So there's a song themed for individuals, like the one I also sang. Omoni Suku Omoni Aye is for the children of the deceased to come and express themselves. They have songs which is religious. I may say that it's something that they refer to God. They have songs that give them pride as a people. Tabom, they have those songs, and they have songs that are historical. For instance, you hear a song like Ashante Otobi, Kole Bawa Kole Bawa Jija Jija, Kole Bawa Shan Shan Shan. These are all historical. So there are songs cut across a variety of themes, musical themes, and they sing all this. They don't really have songs specifically for funerals or for parties or whatever. They sing everything at any time, depending on how they are being led to sing. But so coming back to the question on whether colonialism has got any influence or on the way the Tabom think in terms of relationship with women and men, I think that before they came, they arrived in Ghana in 1888. Yes, 1888 was the last time, but they started even arriving in 1826. there were three reasons or three historical events that led to their coming here. One was money mission, when some of the slaves had money themselves to buy their freedom, and so some of them came to Ghana. And then after the Islamic revolution that happened in Bahia, the Mali Revolution, very popular in 1836. It happened in 1835, and in 1836, they were all exiled, and then they came to, some of them came to Ghana. And then the 1888 event, which abolished slave trade, also happened. So at the time they arrived, the Europeans had already occupied Ghana. There was the Dutch Accra, there was the British Accra, there was the Danish Accra. So, but this Tabon came to lodge within the Dutch Accra. So they belong to that territory. But the one who led them to Ghana was known as Ni Azuma. They were two brothers, Alasha and Aruna. These two brothers, even currently, they are the ones who lead the community. They lead it alternatively. Just recently, the leader from the Aruna passed on, and there was a very elaborate funeral. And so this has shifted. Now the chieftaincy has shifted to the other side. And so he was the one who led the people, and he came with the Shango god as part of his strength or his protection or something like that. To the extent that even I witnessed the Shango priestess, who is a female, performing in her elements. She goes back to dress like a male. She now changes her dressing. She wears suit and tie with a cap, a hat on, and so I think they brought this trait from slavery. They came with it, and then yeah. So I'm not sure they were influenced by the already existing colonialism impact here, but they already came with a certain kind of culture which sidelined the women, because even in history you hardly hear them mentioning some of their women at around the time they arrived. There are very few women that you can or even none at all were mentioned, except as we go on in history, some of them have risen to prominent positions in Ghana, including the not too long ago, the Chief Justice of Ghana was a female who came from the Tabom community. Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure they came to inherit the colonialism, patriarchal cultural traits, but I'm sure they brought it themselves.
Yeah, because the suit that you describe is an overseer in a way with the cap.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just confirming what you just said about the suit being the overseers. So it was part of her costume whenever she enters into trance to perform duties as a Shango priestess. She comes in the form of Shango himself to dress like a man and then oversee and supervise over events.
Well, thank you. Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Any question, Dr. Narcis, from the call? Dr. Kessler?
Kessler has his hand up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, man. Hey, Doc. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very appreciate the presentation of the presenter. So my question is, I would like to know the methodology that you have used to collect the information, your precious information, of course. Uh, because I would like to see real people. It would be pictures, but anyway, because it's question anyway. Maybe it's that concerns me particularly as ethnologist. So I would like to see the field, because the pictures that you have presented so far have been generated. Of course, listening to you, you have your field is clear, but the pictures uh, they complicate my eyes, of course, because we know they should be so rich in Africa to present. Uh, well, it's first of all, I mean, and secondly, I would like to see the comparative, some comparative aspects of your presentation, like Brazil, as you have said, in Ghana, of course, to see, I mean, by even a short video or anyways, like, I mean, songs or audio, but because I am very far from all this. I am in the Caribbean. So you see, and listening, of course, as we are talking about sounds and pictures combined would inform me, I mean, to be more educated, more instructed. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your presentation.
Thank you so much. I hope you can see my new screen.
Yeah, very beautiful. Whoa. Yeah,
Yeah, but I just hope that
my eyes are so glad now. What?
so all these pictures you see here, this is the funeral of the immediate chief who passed on. And the coffin was designed in the shape of a ship, where because according to them they came to Ghana in a ship. So once you've passed on, you should go back in the same ship to Brazil. That's the belief of the people. So when you look at this particular picture, you can see the Brazilian flag even being hoisted near the ship. Yeah, so
Oh, wow. You see?
yes.
Come on, man. You hide the things. Come on.
There are some
Yes.
cultural issues. That's why.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Come on. Thank you.
No, we were trying to play them, but they were not responding. So that's why I
This
made it.
is see, generative images are complicated.
Yeah.
See? Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
these are all
I will
some of
contact you for these pictures. I will contact you for these pictures.
yes, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
So
that's
all
good.
these, yes. I
Okay.
started working in this community since 2012 or so. So I have a lot of pictures. So the methodology I used was mostly ethnography, where I've been with them. I participate in all what they do to the extent that they have given me an honorary membership to the community.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
so thank you so much. They don't do anything without informing me. And these pictures here, for instance, I brought them to the University of Ghana to see how they can teach the students so that the tradition can also be kept in our school. Yeah.
Thank you.
So these pictures are all examples. So this is the picture of the priestess. And over here, you can see him hair dressed like in the suit. Yes. So so she's dressed in the suit with her walking stick and all. Yeah, so there are thousands of pictures. I could share some with you, then you can.
Well, that I'm interested.
Yes.
I will contact
Yes.
you
So
by Dr. Falk, of course, by Dr. Sitson.
yes.
Thank
I'll
you.
do that. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So can we assume that the red is the color for funerals, or
Red and
yeah?
white.
Because they were wearing red in those first pictures, yeah.
Yeah, the red is a Ghanaian funeral cloth for chiefs. If a chief passes on, they usually wear the red. But if an elderly man or an elderly woman passes on, there's usually black and white, which is the funeral costume. And then if a young person passes on, it's usually black, the black dress. But when you see the whole place being dominated with the color red, then it means that it is a prominent man, a chief who has passed on, and that is usually the costume which is put on. And if you look closely at they had cladded their necks with Brazilian flags all over, trying to still remember where they came from, and they are always affiliated. Whatever they do that. Even in this World Cup, they are supporting Brazil over Ghana.
Oh, really?
That's
Yes. Yes.
It's very interesting because these people, their ancestors left Africa to go to Brazil, and then they came back to do this tradition that is blending Ghana and Brazil. I think that's amazing. They've gone full circle and created something new. Very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Nancy's Dr. has a question. Raise your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Gino. Thank you very much, Dr. Boateng, for the presentation. I came late, so I am sorry. Maybe that we ask question that you are already present in your speech, but sorry. I would like to know if that this intangible cultural heritage form part of the national list of cultural heritage in Ghana or UNESCO, first of all. Secondly, I would like to know if there is a metaphysical practice of that heritage, or it can be easy to, what can I say, to transmit to next generation. That are my two questions. Am I clear or no? If my English is not the best one, so I am sorry. But if I'm not so clear, you can also say it so that I can try to explain in other words.
Yes, the first one was whether it's recognized by UNESCO.
Or yes, if not, even for the intangible cultural heritage in Ghana, I don't know. Yes,
it's like as I said, the Tabom people are understudied in Ghana, so it's because of studies like what I'm doing that has given them a little visibility, and people are able to know about them. So we are trying our best, myself and the community, to sell them very well to like people like UNESCO and the rest, so that they can be given some more attention than it is now. So it's something that I'll be so happy if at the end of my research this thing happens. They are recognized as one of the intangible cultural heritages under UNESCO or any of these other organizations. It's something that we are really working hard to get there. And then you asked the second one about whether there's a metadata for
metaphysical practice, because sometimes when I was listening to I have I don't know if there is a metaphysical practice of that heritage, but sometimes it's difficult to be recognized if UNESCO if those parts are not so clear. I just want to know because I used to work on other one who in 2025 form parts now on intangible cultural heritage, but it was not easy at all because it was there was the metaphysical part was not so what can I say? When there is a metaphysical part, the population don't use to explain how they transmit, how it can be transmitted, and sometimes it's not so easy for researchers, not easy for the UNESCO to write document about on it. That was my question.
Mm. Yeah, so this all comes back to the research that we are doing. We are trying our best to provide a lot of documentation so that it can be made available for researchers and all. But currently, whatever metaphysical practices are here, they are more of personal archives, and we do our own collection, but the aim is not to keep it to ourselves, but to expand on this collection and to make it accessible to whoever wants to do it. There's one thing that we are planning to do, even to write a musical about the Tabom, and we are searching for some grants to be able to do that. And if we had some metaphysical collections and all those, we could have presented them also as part of our exhibits or something to be able to work on it. So it's there, yes, but it's very modest. It's not to the level where it's in abundance. It's just a very small fraction of what we're doing, which is kept, but not. We wish we could do more with what we have.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
I had a little concern. I mean, it's not a concern, but it's just a question about the fact that they live. I mean, they have their own community in Ghana, right? So do they
Yes.
have like this? Is there any mix like with other people? Do they get married, for instance, with a man from the Tabom culture can get married with someone from who speaks Twi or Ga from another region? You know, I don't know. Just trying to figure out how they cope with that. Yeah.
Yeah. They have intermarriages.
Mhm.
So it all adds up to why they are assimilating into the Ghanaian culture and leaving their culture behind.
Mhm.
So there are some names that are peculiar to the Tabom people. For instance, if you hear the name Nelson as a surname, you know it's from Tabom. Fishian, Morton, Kofi, all these people come from the Tabom, Marcelino, and all these Portuguese names. But for some time now, you could hear a blend of these names, Nelson, Kofi, for instance, which means that this person has one lineage from the Tabon and another from the Ga.
Mhm.
Then they had different kinds of combination of names. So the marriage ceremonies or the marriage is allowed. They can marry anybody they want. Once they find love in the person, they could marry. They are not too strict that you have to as a rule marry somebody who is a Tabon, but you can marry from any other tribe in Ghana.
Do they deal with how do you put it? How someone is asking something. What are the Portuguese last names most common in the Tabon community? The question from Ana Santos.
So like the Marcelino, Nelson, Fishion, Olympio, those kind of names, just to mention a few. They are, and each of them has a certain trait that, for the Mortons, for instance, came to Ghana with skills in medicine and then also tailoring. So anybody who comes from that lineage is very good in medicine, and then also can make up dresses and suits and all. Then we have the Fishians and the biters, and they are more into law, the legal practitioners. And so the names are many. I can't remember a lot of them now, but you can tell them because of the unique way they combine their names. Every Tabon person has a Christian name, a Muslim name, and then the Tabon name. So you can see somebody called George Aruna Nelson, for instance. So the George is a Christian name, Aruna is a Muslim name, and then the Nelson. So they have this kind of combinations as one of their identities.
Yeah, and Anna is saying that she's in Brazil right now. She says that here in Brazil, we have a lot of Black people with last names Silva, Santos, Oliveira. I pronounce it very well. So, yeah, that's really interesting. And yeah, it's fascinating. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben. Yeah, I was going unless you guys have some other questions, I'm sorry. I don't want to hold the microphone. I guess you guys have. Do you guys have some questions? Of course, I don't want to hold the mic.
I was just intrigued by what Dr. Boateng said about the professions. So some are good at medicine, some are good at tailoring. It makes me think of, so I don't know if this is a question or a comment. It reminds me of the Mandingo region, the Gambia, Mali, and all of that, where the Tourés are something, from the surname, if they're hunters, they're griots, So I was wondering whether there's something like that. Why is it that some have these specializations? That's actually my question. Is it linked to the ancestry, or I don't know?
Yeah, it will depend on the masters they were working for when they were in Brazil. Yeah, so they came back with a whole lot of skills. Some had skills in blacksmith, and in carpentry, in even digging wells, digging the ground for water. Some are architects. So a lot of the buildings you see in Accra right now, the very old buildings, were designed by the Afro-Brazilians. So you could when you get there and you go to Brazil, but in Bahia, you could tell that maybe you are not lost. It's the same architecture you see because they brought those skills. So I'm thinking that their masters in Brazil taught them the kind of skills that they brought here, which they came to share with the Ghanaians and made. They were able to negotiate their stay because of the skills that they brought to help the Ghanaian economy.
Wow. I really hope you get that UNESCO recognition, because this is very, very unique. And also slavery is considered, and rightfully so, as something devastatingly negative and all that. And suddenly you have this really positive thing that comes out of it, with skills being brought back to Africa and all this cultural blend. I think it's really, really fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, thank you. I have so many questions that I think we're running a little bit late, but we're never late anyway. We own the time. So, but my last question, but Anna is asking that what is left to do for UNESCO recognition?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you you can help.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's a long process, right? I know
yeah.
about the vocal music from Guadeloupe. It's been, I mean, it was a lot of work. We could talk
Well,
about it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and yeah. So,
Yeah.
so uh, hello.
yeah.
So what to do is not necessarily according to the convention of 2003. Is not really the work of PhDs, doctors, or this is a question more specifically based on the communities. Uh, well, that doesn't mean that experts like you guys do not allowed to work on that, on the process of inscription of a practice of an element of a ICH. But as you see on the screen, this aspect is concerned specifically these people, that this community you see here. They are the boss of this convention. Your work maybe are too critical for it in the perspective of UNESCO. Because if you consider your work, me as, as I work in this area, they will not consider your point of view because there's so, first of all, critical, but there's a real distance between what they are really doing, the perspective, and you guys as, as expert, as scientific. So the narrative that we expect, for example, me as a person who's working in UNESCO, even in the program of Université Laval and UH, so we have an inventory of practice in Haiti, ICH practice, of course, but according to UNESCO, this inventory was, as it was done, accomplished by academics, it was not valid. So we as Asian, we had to repeat the process of inventory to make it like in the perspective of the community. So this is a point that maybe you know it, but I'm one of the facilitator of the American and Caribbean for the implementation of this convention. So I share this with you.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they do with religion? They have voodoo, right?
Yeah, voodoo is a religion, so UNESCO doesn't really for the aspect of religion or religious aspect. So this aspect, this one, I mean, this the point of view of religious cannot really be on the list. That doesn't mean that if you look very closely, you will see it. But in the narrative, we should not put a religious aspect. As you can see, like we have just Haitian, I just with Benin, we have just bring on the table of UNESCO the Veve. As you should know. I know you know Veve. But at the same time, we put it with Veve with no, the Veve is only with Haitians, but artistic aspect of voodoo, that's how we call it. But this is not voodoo as voodoo, but this voodoo as artistic vibration. So we have just put it on the table of UNESCO. This is a by national inscription. This is with Benin and Haiti.
Yeah, because in fact, I was going to ask if the they have Vodou in the Tabom community. I mean, are they more religious or mostly Catholic or?
The Tabom perform three religions.
Mm-hmm.
They are Christians, they are Muslims, and then they also do the Shango religion.
Shango is like Vodou, no?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Shango is not voodoo. Voodoo is different.
Is it candomblé?
Candomblé.
Yeah,
Candomblé. I was candomblé. Like
candomblé.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candomblé.
Candomblé. Yeah.
Okay. But do they feel like part of the community of Ghanaian people? I mean, they speak Ga also, or they speak like they use the language they use. It's like a blend of a mix of Yoruba and Ga, or it's like or Portuguese something.
No, everyday language they speak Ga.
Okay.
They speak the Ghanaian language, yes. But in the songs they sing in Yoruba.
Okay, but they speak Yoruba. Do they speak or they just sing?
They don't speak Yoruba at all. They don't speak Yoruba.
But they have a clue of what they're singing, right?
Yes, they understand the songs that they sing.
Oh, that's funny. That's really interesting.
Yes. They understand the songs.
Wow, wow. Even though they don't
Yeah.
speak the language, they understand. Oh, wow.
They understand, yes.
I mean, they kind of connected with the other parts of, I mean, other people, or I mean, like in Benin, you were mentioning. Do they communicate? They have the same, I mean, background. I mean, same history, right?
Yeah, they do, but they don't really. I've not seen them having maybe an association where all West African Tabom come together or not. No, I'm yet to see something like that. I think everybody is in his own corner, creating his own slice of Brazil in the country where they find themselves in. Yeah. Yeah, but they don't speak. Yeah, they don't speak Yoruba. They don't use it for everyday communication. They will not be able to to understand each other.
Okay.
But they speak Ga very well.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But there are people from Tabon community who also do they sing some other songs like, let's say, popular music, African Ghanaian highlight my favorite music in Africa, for instance. Do they sing highlights?
Yes, they sing everything.
Okay.
But during their performances, they will prefer to do the Tabom songs, the Agbe songs, because that's what will showcase them. That's what will advertise them as Tabom. But they sing everything. They dance to the High Lives, the Amapiano, all those songs. They dance to them.
Wow.
Yes.
They try to mix sometimes the music. I mean, like they're having like a fusion of styles.
Yes. Recently, we started to play their music with some Ghanaian rhythms as a foundation for them, and it's sounding good. We will try to explore that one too, and we'll see how it goes.
So Anna is asking that, what about the samba? Samba, do they have it there? Samba music?
No, not as they don't really have any. I think that in 2006, I think the Brazilian president's visit to Ghana gifted the Tabon community with a samba set of drums, but they have not been able to perform. It's sleeping somewhere. The drums are lying somewhere else, and so they have not been able to explore its potential or whatever it is. They are rather concerned about the Agbe. But I know that right now, since they are they are reawakening their affiliation with Brazil. They would love to play the samba and perform it just as the Brazilians do. But they have the set of drums there, but I don't think they have a teacher or somebody to help them to, yeah.
But how about the rhythms? Do they have like odd meters? They use like only 6/8/4/4, or they have odd meters like 5/7 within their
No,
repertoire?
yes, for their music, they just all is in 6/8.
Okay.
There's only one song, which is the finale of their performance, which is in 4/4. The rest are all in 6/8.
Really interesting.
Yes.
And the cadence at the end of the song, they do like the degree.
They have a variety of scales that they use. Mm-hmm. At least I've noticed three types of scales in their songs. Mm-hmm. They have the pentatonic scale, 5-tone. They also have 6-tone scale, and they have the 7-tone scale. And each of them will create their own cadences. Like the 7-tone can give us a perfect cadence at the end, for instance. This will give us a perfect cadence. Yes. But the other ones can give us interrupted cadence, and they have all those mixed modes in their singing.
But since Yoruba is a tonal language, how do they take into consideration that the language itself, right? Not to be so people can understand in a way. I guess. Although, I mean, even though not everybody speaks the language of Yoruba, and how do people from outside, let's say people who are not, people from another country who speak someone who speaks Yoruba, how does it do the person understand what they're saying, or they phrase a different way, or they do it on their own with the mix?
Yes. Sometimes they understand. Sometimes they have to ask what they are singing about. Yeah, because it has come a long way, and some of the words are distorted and the rest. So it's not everything that a typical Yoruba person will understand. But once they explain to them that this is what we want to say, then the Yoruba man will say, "Oh, this is how it is pronounced," rather. Okay. And then they can, they have a sense of, they understand the songs, but whether they are pronouncing it well, it's another story. Yes.
And that's beautiful. Anna, do you have any question? Yeah, Dr. Kesse was showing that there's a talk on tomorrow, actually, at 11 Eastern time, about the energy source of progress in Britain. Tomorrow, online on Zoom, if you guys want to join this talk, hosted by Dr. Kesse Bienini. So you're more than welcome. I think I'll be there tomorrow. And Anna, do you have any question? Dr. Constance?
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was able to unmute my mic. So I just asked about the samba because looking at the picture on the screen, it looks like some of my family's house parties, something like this. And samba here in Brazil is like the root we have that connect us back to Africa. It was something created by the Black people, the slaves, maybe because it's by that time, I don't know if it was very strong in Bahia, where the Tabom people went back from Bahia to Ghana after the Malays revolt. So I don't know if the samba by that time was very strong there, but here in Sao Paulo, Rio, other states of Brazil, the samba is really related to the Black culture. That would be very nice, maybe if we have the opportunity for an exchange of some musician, Brazilian musician, to go there. I have a cousin, he's a musician, he plays a lot of instruments, and you guys were talking about cadence and things like this more technically. And he's someone who is very nice to connect to you once you're also working with the music. He's a producer, so maybe you can do even online. He can produce music, some music mixing the samba and the tabon or something like this, the kind of rhythms.
Great. Let's keep in touch. I mean, maybe you can send some information, email or whatever. Let me send this. That would be nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other questions? So, and I know that it's really fascinating. Thank you so much, Ben. It's really great. I have so many questions, but we have time to talk about it. Maybe some projects we have to work on. It's really inspiring,
Yeah.
So thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great talk. Thank you, Dr. Ben. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you so much.
Sean is gone. Thank you, Sean. Maybe he has some questions. Do you have any last minute questions?
Only to find out if there were like a YouTube link to learn of some of those rhythms or see some of the videos,
Okay.
Sean is an amazing educator, drummer, incredible, from Trinidad, but based in Florida now. It's been here for many years. So it's really into the diasporic stuff.
Yes, thank you. This is wonderful, Dr. Sitson. This is beautiful to connect with so many wonderful people. It's nice. It's nice to see all of you over there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks. So wish you guys a beautiful weekend and see you next month at the.
I have one last question, please.
Yes.
I was not here by the beginning of the meeting. I don't know if you shared some information. Can we have the access to the research or at some time?
You mean the slides or something?
Yeah, I don't know any information because I was not here by the beginning of the meeting, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay, work out something and share with you.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
If I do understand the question, so all the work, all the presentation of polyvocal research after post-production are online.
Yeah, probably by tonight or tomorrow. It'll be online
on the YouTube of the polyvocal research.
Yeah.
So very, 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 very fast you will get it, all the information.
Yeah, you can see all those stuff.
Gino, you're going to have quite a catalog of.
I know.
Presentations after a while.
I'm waiting for you guys to write some articles for this book that we're doing. We're putting together.
Yeah, it's going to be like an incredible research TV or research resource. It's brilliant.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm so excited.
Right.
It's inspiring. Thank you, Doc Ben. And we talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you all.
Thank you for having me here.
Have a blessed weekend.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.